University of Illinois. I can guarantee you the legislators don't know that. We have to tell them that.
And it also has the number of students from their district that are going.
Yeah, Kevin, you might want to look at SURS, the pension board, put together maps of every legislative district in the state with the amount of money that retirees would spend. We estimated what an average retiree spends in their home, and we came up with the hundreds of millions of dollars that were spent throughout the state of Illinois by the 44,000 retirees in the SURS system. And we have that. You might want to get in touch with Linda Brookhart. You can find her. She's sitting next to you. And she can get that to you. That was done in conjunction with SUAA.
You know, in this regard, let me make a point as a person that's, you know, some of my best friends are lobbyists and near to this process. When lawmakers get an email that's got a set of bullet points that are exactly like the ones they got a minute ago, and a minute ago, and a minute ago, you know, sometimes they'll just, in the old days, they would just say, well, this pile's this high, this pile's that high, and so, you know, but what's really, I mean, that's important. It's important that you be educated and that you know the facts and you can incorporate them. But what really matters, and it's really more effective, is when you can take the time to write a personal letter, especially that gives personal reasons, anecdote. You know, if you wrote it with a pen on a piece of paper, you know, they're going to look at this and go, wow, look at this. Somebody took the time to really tell their story. And likewise, if and when you go down, you know, lobbying days are good, and everybody expects the groups to have their lobbying day and they swarm the Capitol. What also is probably more effective is when you go down on your own sometime, or especially go to their district office when they're not in session and they have time to talk to you and get to know them and let them know, you know, your interests and the interests of people you know, and that puts a real human face on things, and it shows them that you're just not, you know, just another, you know, like NRA would have their magazines, you share out a postcard, you send it in. I mean, you know, that's more about generating interest among your members than it is about having impact in the legislative process. So think about that.
Okay. A couple more questions from the audience. One deals with the subject we've been talking about a lot, which is revenue. The pension mess has largely occurred because Illinois did not generate the revenue needed to fund all of the services citizens needed and wanted. Regardless of changes to the state pension systems, revenue will still be an issue. What role will you play, and I think that means university play, in addressing this need? You're going to be talking about revenue in general. For example, Dick Simpson mentioned two tax things. One was making the 5% permanent as opposed to going down to 4%. And the other one was something that all the public service unions have signed on to and have already pledged $1 million for PR to create a progressive income tax in Illinois, which Dick says will not pass. However, he's been wrong before, and he's right again. Anyway, is the university...
I didn't be wrong.
Yeah. Is there any... the university given any thought to looking at the tax structure and the generation of revenue in the state?
Yeah, well, one thing, IGPA is doing something actually just in 2 weeks. If you're interested in this, come on down to the Union League Club on the 28th. It's a Monday, actually 2 weeks from today. We're doing an event where we're bringing in some of our own economists, but also economists from the Federal Reserve. It's co-sponsored with the Federal Reserve, and on exactly this issue, trying to look at, we call it Illinois' fiscal cliff, right? When the tax increase, temporary tax increase goes away, something's going to happen. Even if nothing happens legislatively, then we have this sort of nightmare scenario that Dick was talking about. So we're beginning to look into that, and it will be something that at the IGPA we spend, the next year or so doing analyses on. And we're not an advocacy group. Certainly as an institution, that's not our role. That's not what we do. Some of our professors have their opinions, and they can go out and say whatever they want. But we're more about generating options, doing analysis that's again, evidence-based, and then putting it out there as alternatives for people. But yeah, you know, we're not paying attention to this, but we ought to, because it's coming like a freight train. And you know, it's January 2015, which might sound like a long time away, but it's 15 months away. But more importantly,